Hey there, I'm Tony Nicopol. This is The Uplift. We've got a great show for you, a great cast of characters as well. Among them, these. An amputee who stopped at nothing to earn his wings. Steve Hartman has his story of resilience and how, despite the odds, he became a pilot. Also, a boy who found his own way to help the homeless in his community, handing out packs of, you might call it love. Also, a boy who got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to interview an American president, how he got access to Bill Clinton, and an interview that is still inspiring all these decades later. Plus, it's never too late to try something new. I tried carpentry, a long-held dream of mine, a goal that was clear in my mind. Did I accomplish it? Stick around, you'll find out. You know what you're watching. It's The Uplift. Hey there, welcome to The Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes. You, I like to say me as well, and we're going to begin with a lesson in resilience. Steve Hartman introduces us to an amputee who proved you don't have to have hands to have wings.
Hello, you know Meryl.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our lesson on resilience.
Emmett, how are you going to define resilience?
I'm going to say resilience is the ability to bounce back from failure.
That's good. Or I might even say it's like embracing failure.
But who wants to fail?
Well, no one really. But when you do fail, you need to look at it not so much as a roadblock, but more like a stepping stone to success. It'll make more sense when you see this story. This is one pulled from our library of stories past, filed under resilience.
Although born without hands or feet, 25-year-old Zach Anglin says the only limbs he ever longed for were wings. Always wanted to be a pilot. Unfortunately, no quad amputee had ever become a commercial pilot.
Obviously, nothing worth having comes easy.
From the time he was born, he was a disciplined and determined child.
Adoptive parents Harold and Patty say there was no talking him out of it. So when Zach turned 18, he applied to a flight school that said no.
There's nothing we can really do for you. We're sorry.
The second one said the same.
Like, here we go again.
As did the third.
The same response.
And so it went, more than a dozen times over.
You're not hearing what they're saying.
I'm not. Selective hearing. My wife will tell you I'm a little bit hard-headed.
Which is why this hard-headed husband and soft-hearted father applied to one more school. The Spartan College of Aeronautics in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They said yes, although Zach's struggle was just getting started.
He still needed approval from the Federal Aviation Administration to take the lessons, but the FAA repeatedly, and in no uncertain terms, denied his request. And after the fifth rejection letter, Zach finally gave up.
I was like, this is not for me. This is impossible to do. And so my mom was over my shoulder at this point, right? And then she's like, you're not done yet.
I said, you can never succeed until you've learned to fail.
And Patty says her son obviously hadn't failed enough. So Zach kept at it until finally they cleared him for one takeoff. And when Zach was given the opportunity to show his potential, it became clear as blue sky that you don't need hands to have wings. Zach graduated from flight school a few years ago and now teaches the same course so many told him he couldn't even take.
Why do people need to hear this?
Because my story isn't just for amputees. We all go through trials and tribulations. The word impossible is an illusion behind the word possible.
And failure, just the turbulence on your journey.
Zach Anglin joins us now. Zach, welcome to Kindness 101.
Thank you guys for having me.
Are you still flying and teaching?
Yes, ma'am. Still having a lot of fun doing it. It's a lot of work, but it's such a privilege to do. So,
When you failed at something repeatedly, how do you avoid getting down on yourself?
it took a village, and I think I told Steve this some time ago. And that village is my family, my faith, and then the people around me to go ahead and make things possible for myself.
Do you have any suggestions for how we can be more resilient?
Make a goal. Write it down, say it out loud in the morning. Talk to somebody that's done it, and just take a little bit of time every day to go ahead and work towards that goal.
Big goals are just little goals piled up.
Yup, little things lead to big things.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate you guys as well. Thank you.
We all fail from time to time, but it doesn't make us failures. It makes us human. And if you have resilience, eventually those failures will become the wings you fly on. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to stay kind.
Coming up, 2 stories about 11-year-old boys who did not want to wait to make a difference in their community. One, a California boy who made it his mission to help the homeless, and the other, an aspiring journalist who wanted to interview the president.
His tone was demanding. It never felt like, pretty please, can I get an interview with the president? It was much more, when can I get the interview with the president? Like, that was it. He was going to get the interview. And the letter outlined other interviews he was going to get. He was going to interview Gorbachev. He was going to interview Nelson Mandela.
Did you think, oh, this will be good for the president? Him with a kid, it'll have him come off looking good?
No, what I thought was, I love this kid. I want to make this happen, because it's a better world when a little kid can ask the president some questions. Simple as that.
We introduce you now to an 11-year-old boy who, despite his not-so-great age, is making a great difference and doing a lot of good in his community. Here's Elise Martinez from CBS News, Los Angeles.
11-year-old Devin Oviedo noticed the homeless problem in his community and wanted to do something.
In here we have hand warmers.
So he started Packs of Love.
Granola bar.
Using money from fundraisers and selling bracelets to buy essential items in backpacks and give them to those who need it.
Then we have gloves. I want the people to have the chance to live a life that they deserve.
Oviedo is getting some help from law enforcement.
A lot of them, huh? Yeah.
Moore Park Police and the Ventura County Sheriff's Department are bringing dozens of Oviedo's backpacks to their river bottom.
And this is a way, by providing these resources, to help them get through another night or help them get a little bit closer to get back on their feet.
The Homeless Liaison Unit going down into the riverbed to hand out the backpacks, then working to get the people living there help with additional services.
Thank you, guys.
Inside each backpack is a bracelet and a note written by Oviedo and his mom. Oviedo says he hopes that when they read it, they realize that someone is thinking about them.
You are loved. This backpack is a gift for you, filled with care, hope, and the reminder that you are worthy.
In Moore Park, Elise Martinez, KCAL News.
Coming up, as you may have heard down here on Earth, Gayle King went to space, proving it's never too late to face your fears and reach for the stars. I, on the other hand, followed an old impractical dream of mine to work with my hands, and there I am doing it. I wanted to build my own house. Find out how far I got after the break. In our series, Never Too Late for CBS Mornings, we show you can always learn something new. It's never too late. I wanted to learn carpentry in pursuit of a lifelong dream of mine, building my own house. Here's how it went. I could tell you it's all the catastrophes we see on the news, or blame it on the many Survivor shows on streaming. But the truth is, childhood regret. That while I watched my stepfather Paul, a carpenter, renovate this old farmhouse for my mom, the dumb teenage me refused to learn how he did it. Now, I dream of that kind of self-reliance, to feel like a hardened pioneer instead of a soft 21st century office worker.
So Tony, nice to meet you. I'm Will.
Which is what brought me to Will O'Connor, a professional woodworker who teaches classes at Craftsman Avenue in Brooklyn.
The hole will appear here.
He started me off kinda tiny.
If the ultimate dream were to build my wife a 3,000 square foot house, this is what?
Yeah. Like birdhouse tiny.
Maybe about like 16 square inches.
Yeah.
And I immediately learned I'm not good at this. Not good at the sawing. Not good at the planing either. I was, though, immediately drunk on the feeling.
I'm gonna put some of this sawdust in my arm hair, just my wife will like it.
And you know what that means. I wanted more.
Beautiful. You're natural.
And I found myself wondering, why settle for a birdhouse? Which is how I ended up here, just outside of Asheville, North Carolina.
Your manual labor has arrived.
Matt Grant is a construction supervisor for Habitat for Humanity, a nonprofit that builds affordable housing all around the world, in part by taking volunteer help from total amateurs like me. I didn't even try to play it cool. I was loving this.
What do I do with this?
But Matt's goal,
lines on a paper, by the end of the day, are going to be walls.
Was ambitious. 3 interior walls marking out this home's primary bedroom. And there was obviously no chance that was happening.
I feel like we should be further in by now.
There you go, you bastard. Woo! Between my peak physical condition,
it hurts.
Yeah, it does.
My incredibly skilled hammer work.
Oh no.
And so many dumb questions.
How does a level work? Any idea?
It's
got a bubble in there, I get that part, but how does the bubble know?
Okay. At the end of the day, instead of 3 interior walls,
so we need to stand it up from the other side.
Are you sure about that?
all we had was a single closet.
It's like a New York City apartment in here. Yeah? What went wrong?
You had some learning to do, so we had a little bit of that learning curve to climb.
So on a scale of the most incompetent to superstar, where am I?
You're getting close to the halfway point.
I left with the sinking feeling that my dream of building my wife a home would remain a dream. Unless, you remember that birdhouse?
It's looking pretty chiseled. Just like your jaw.
After a little glue.
The glue glues itself shut.
And a whole lot of cursing.
Ow. Yeah, it's terrible.
I realized what matters most about a house isn't the size.
I've never seen a bird with a splinter, but we might see one.
Or even who built it. What matters is the people who live there.
That's great. Well done.
Look at that. Huh? Open your eyes.
And in my case, I'm happy to say...
What is this?
My wife, after she laughed at me, was kind of impressed. Even if it was only a birdhouse.
Did a woodpecker?
I used a chisel and a gouge.
It's really good.
Growing up, an 11-year-old dreamed of interviewing the president. Even though he was only in the 6th grade, he didn't have to wait long to achieve that lofty goal. How did a child get the opportunity to sit across from President Bill Clinton? We'll explain. In 1993, an 11-year-old boy who came to the U.S. from Iran set his sights on a big goal. He wanted to interview the President of these United States, and it's a dream that came true and actually continues to inspire others decades later. Here's David Begnaud.
You got a grill me? Yeah, no, I haven't heard about you guys. I'm terrified.
That interviewer, who terrified President Bill Clinton,
And you're from Missouri, right?
Right.
was an 11-year-old boy.
It all began with the letter to Bill Clinton asking for an interview.
That's Kevin Nazemi back in 1993 when he was just a 6th grader. He and his family were new to the United States, having immigrated from Iran for a better life, he says.
When you came to the U.S., you spoke no English.
I spoke no English.
And that means, as his teacher said at the time, he didn't really know what the word impossible meant.
And then try to give you some easier questions. Right?
Because a child getting an interview with the President of the United States? I mean, come on.
Questions will be,
But that is exactly what Kevin and his friend Sam Bornhauser came up with.
Kids in our 8, Columbia.
For a class project that teamed up kids from the local TV station at the University of Missouri, KOMU, to make these reports.
I sent off a letter to the White House, and I got a coloring book back. And so I decided to call the White House, and I still remember the number, 202-456-7150.
He got through to a 23-year-old junior staffer named Dave Anderson.
His tone was demanding. It never felt like, pretty please, can I get an interview with the president? It was much more, when can I get the interview with the president? Like, that was it. He was going to get the interview, and the letter outlined other interviews he was going to get. He was going to interview Gorbachev. He was going to interview Nelson Mandela.
Kevin says he called you almost every day for 2 weeks. He would call in the morning before school, and he would call in the afternoon after school.
Yeah. I remember he called all the time, and I was like, I don't know what to tell you, Kevin. Like, I don't have anything new today.
This guy took your call.
He took my call, and he treated me seriously and with kindness and encouragement.
Until one day, Kevin got called to the principal's office.
It was Dave on the phone, and he said, you've been granted an interview with the president. Can you get to Cleveland?
Did you think, oh, this will be good for the president? Him
No,
with a kid,
no,
it'll have him come off looking good.
No, what I thought was, I love this kid. I want to make this happen, because it's a better world when a little kid can ask the president some questions. Simple as that.
Now, at that point, Kevin hadn't even told his parents what he was working on, and he had just 3 days to prepare for an 8-minute interview with the leader of the free world. They collected questions from their classmates and chronicled their trip to Cleveland,
Here it is.
where the pair stayed up a bit past their bedtime
Yeah, it's 1:10 a.m. right now.
the night before the biggest day of their lives.
with Sam on the camera, I began my questioning of the 42nd president.
Mr. President, what advice would you give for kids that want to become president one day?
Study very hard in school. Develop your mind.
Are you putting any money aside for the rainforest?
Well, how will your education plan attract the best people to become teachers? If you could make one lot for the United States, just one lot, what would it be?
I would pass an economic policy that would make our families secure.
They talked forever. The president loved him. And I was like, whew.
Kevin went home with enough for a half-hour special.
Sam and I were impressed that the president had prepared for our interview and spent some extra time chatting with us. Rex and Angela, back to you.
Hey, that's great.
I'm gonna
wonderful.
look out for my job. I've got some competition here.
That kid, who came to America with a dream, went on to MIT, then Harvard Business School.
We built a health insurance that was simple from
and then founded 4 startups, including the latest one called Charlie, which reimagines banking for older Americans.
What you did with the president, you think, put you on this path to success.
Absolutely.
And Kevin never forgot that White House staffer who put him on that path.
We got to narrow it down because we don't have that much time.
You were so cute.
Kevin and Dave became and have remained really good friends. So Dave wasn't the least bit surprised when Kevin called one day asking for the exact spelling of the names of Dave's kids, Noah and Maddie. But Dave was stunned when he got a note in the mail explaining why.
Dave, many thanks for letting me take a swing in my field of dreams so many years ago. Your doing so opened up my mind and eyes to what is possible. He had set up these college funds for my kids. And it just floored me. Still does.
And as those college funds grew, so did Dave's kids. Noah's now a high school senior, but he and his sister have never had a chance to meet the man who believed in their futures.
Hey, can I hug you?
Just as their father had once believed in him.
I can't tell you guys how nice it is to meet you. I've heard so much about you, how awesome you are.
You know, obviously you've contributed to their future, and Noah has now decided where he's going to go to college.
Fantastic.
I'm going to Mississippi State.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
It's just like reassuring that like someone else out there that we hardly even know just like wanted to help us. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my honor. What I've done is so small compared to what your dad's done for me. Thank you for the never-ending gift that started with me, but being passed on to so many others. You mean the world to me, and I still, to this day, ask myself, can I be as good as Dave was? Can I be as patient as Dave was? Would I pick up the phone? Would I give somebody who is pursuing their dream the space to explore that you gave me?
That is our show. I hope it brightened your day. I hope it lifted you up. If for some reason it didn't, and we have failed in our pursuit, go ahead and press play again. Reruns completely free. I'm going to go find some good news. See you next time.